Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Key to Theosophy Part 3. But how many parts will there be? There's a lot. We just do a tiny bit at a time. And my channel here, this is called Yogi Theosophy. I feel like a cabin crew member when I have to explain that yogi does not mean a different branch of theosophy. It simply means student, one who aspires, one who studies or applies. Yoga, the ancient wisdoms, not the postures, obviously. And theosophy is not a different branch. It's not a different type of theosophy. It simply is the ancient wisdoms coming through, even in the Kabbalah or Rumi, or you'll see Blavatsky here. These are the ancient wisdoms coming through that I have studied, applied, and meditated upon, and I'm sharing my experience with you. And it has changed my life so much so that I wish to share it with you. And I don't know what else to do, but do it this way. I don't get paid for this. I do voice some of the teachings and sell them as audiobooks, but they're also available free on this channel. So this is all a labor of love. It truly is. And this week, I wanted to do a little shout out to a man named Alex Gendler, who did a TEDx talk that I'm going to include in the links down below. A TEDx talk on Plato's allegory of the cave from Book 7 of the Republic, where he's talking about what is reality? How do we know that that's reality? And when people come and tell us that what we're looking at isn't really reality, what do we usually do with them? We usually kill them. Take a look. Plato, the student of Socrates, the teacher of Aristotle, you will find Theosophy is the combination of the study of all the commonalities of the religion, and then philosophy and science. So take a look at that. And I also wanted to talk about karma. Now, the law of equilibrium, we've talked about it on this channel, and from the teachings of Theosophy, the law of equilibrium, the law of balance. Karma isn't retribution or revenge or punishment. It's simply a cause and an effect. Okay, I'm going to touch the stove. The stove is hot. I burned myself. Who burnt me? I did, by touching the stove. Okay, so when we talk about this, this is so helpful. These teachings that have come through forever about do unto others as you'd have done to you is not a mere suggestion. This is an absolute reality. What you cause another being to experience, you will experience what you caused. And the only person who implements that is you. It's not coming from somebody else. It's not to punish you. It's simply an effect of the cause. So more of this and is in Theosophy, and you can study at your own leisure. I've included links to the Key to Theosophy, the original text written 130 years ago. There are links to these texts down below as well. So let's get started. Okay. All right. It is in question and answer format, which you'll hear the question being asked and the answers coming through from HPB, written down by HPB, which is Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Don't worship her. This is not the worship of her as a person. She's a scribe and wrote down some of the most important texts of the last 2,000 years. However, this Theosophy is as old as time itself. Okay. All right. I need to tell you that. I did get a comment recently that somebody said this is Satanism. It's not. It's not that at all. However, the organized religions and the institutions would definitely not want you to find out about this. And so they're going to spin it however they can, because the answers are within you. You don't need any organization. You don't need a society. You don't need to follow a priest. It's in yourself. Okay, here we go. The wisdom, religion, esoteric in all ages. The question is asked, since Ammonius never committed anything to writing, how can one feel sure that such were his teachings? This is Ammonius Saccas. Okay, we left off last week. The Theosophist answers, neither did Buddha, Pythagoras, Confucius, Orpheus, Socrates, or even Jesus leave anything behind in writing. Yet most of these are historical personages, and their teachings have all survived. The disciples of Ammonius, among them Origen and Herennius, wrote treatises and explained his ethics. Certainly the latter are historical, if not more so, than the apostolic writings. And moreover, his pupils, Origen, Plotinus, Longinus, counselor of the famous Queen Zenobia, have all left voluminous records of the Philalethean system, so far, at all events, as their public profession of faith was known, for the school was divided into exoteric and esoteric. Okay, exoteric means everybody knows. Esoteric means not that many people know. It's kind of secret. Next question. How have the later tenets, creeds or doctrines, reached our day? Again, this was written 130 years ago. How did these get through? Since you hold, the question is being asked to the Theosophists, since you hold that what is properly called the wisdom religion was esoteric, since you're saying it was hidden, how did they get here? The answer comes in, the wisdom religion was ever one, and being the last word of possible human knowledge, was therefore carefully preserved. It preceded by long ages the Alexandrian Theosophists, reached the modern, and will survive every other religion and philosophy. Next question. Where and by whom was it so preserved? Theosophist. Among initiates of every country, among profound seekers after truth, their disciples, and in those parts of the world where such topics have always been most valued and pursued, in India, Central Asia, and Persia. Another question. Can you give me some proofs of its esotericism? The answer is, the best proof you can have of that fact is that every ancient religious, or rather philosophical cult, consisted of an esoteric or secret teaching, and an exoteric or outward public worship. Furthermore, it is well known that the mysteries of the ancients comprised with every nation the greater secret and lesser public mysteries. For example, in the celebrated solemnities called the Eleusinian in Greece, from the Hierophants of Samothrace, Egypt, and the initiated Brahmins of the India of old, down to the later Hebrew rabbis, all preserved for fear of profanation. Profane. Okay. Their real bona fide beliefs were kept secret. The Jewish rabbis called their secular religious series the Merkava, the exterior body, the vehicle or the covering which contains the hidden soul, i.e., their highest secret knowledge. Not one of the ancient nations ever imparted through its priests its real philosophical secrets to the masses, but allotted to the latter only the husks. Northern Buddhism has its greater and its lesser vehicle, known as the Mahayana, the esoteric, the secret, and the Hinayana, the well-known, the exoteric. Nor can you blame them for such secrecy, for surely you would not think of feeding your flock of sheep on learned dissertations of botany instead of on grass. Pythagoras called his gnosis the knowledge of things that are, and preserved that knowledge for his pledged disciples only, for those who could digest such mental food and feel satisfied. And he pledged them to silence and secrecy. That's Pythagoras. Occult alphabets and secret ciphers are the development of the old Egyptian hieratic writings, the secret of which was in the days of old only in the possession of the hierogrammatists, or initiated Egyptian priests. Ammonius Saccas, as his biographers tell us, bound his pupils by oath not to divulge his higher doctrines except to those who had already been instructed in preliminary knowledge and who were also bound by a pledge. Finally, do we not find even the same in early Christianity, among the Gnostics, and even in the teachings of Christ? Did he not speak to the multitudes in parables that had a twofold meaning and explain the reasons to his disciples? To you, he says, it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. And unto them who are without, these things are done in parables. That is said in Mark chapter 4, verse 11. The Essenes of Judea and Carmel made similar distinctions, dividing their adherents to neophytes, which means a newbie, a pupil, a green pea, a starter, somebody who's beginning, their brethren, their brothers, their associates, and to the perfect, or those initiated. That's from eclectic philosophy, and that would be somebody who's further down the path in education. Examples might be brought from every country to this effect. And the final question for today is, can you attain the secret wisdom, that's in quotes, simply by study? Cerebral, academia. I'm throwing those two last words in. Can you do that? Encyclopedias define, this is the question continuing, that theosophy pretty much, same as Webster's dictionary says it is, supposed intercourse with God and superior spirits and consequent attainment of superhuman knowledge by physical means and chemical processes. The answer is, I think not. Nor is there any lexicographer, one who writes down a dictionary, who could be capable of explaining, whether to himself or any others, how superhuman knowledge can be attained by physical or chemical processes. Had Webster said metaphysical or alchemical processes, then be approximately correct. As it is absurd. Ancient theosophists claim, and so do the modern, that the infinite cannot be known by the finite. I'll repeat that. The infinite cannot be known by the finite. For example, sensed by the finite self, which is capitalized, self. But, and here's the but, that the divine essence could be communicated to the higher spiritual self in a state of ecstasy. This condition can hardly be attained, like hypnotism, by physical and chemical means. So that means not with ayahuasca, which may, get you close, but you cannot get this by physical or chemical means. It's not just the cerebral study, which I find, and I have found through personal experience, other groups online that study are busy studying and arguing among themselves what they read in these texts, rather than the application, the contemplation, the implementation of them in their daily lives. They literally just want to one-up each other. There's money, there's power, there's real estate involved. And that's where I say run again. Stay away from those. Get the texts for yourselves. The links to the texts are free. The ebooks will always be free. I cannot stress to you enough. When you find any group that has a leader where there's a hierarchy, where somebody is looked to give you this information, that's not where you need to be. You apply this, you are the temple, you are the divine spark, the knowledge is within you. You can access this through the study, application, meditation, on a spit, of these teachings. So there you have it. That is the Key to Theosophy, Week 3. Check out the link to the Allegory of the Cave. That's pretty incredible. And know that I love you very much. Thank you for being here with me today.